Welcome back to Midday with Mike, everyone. Joining us now is the one and only Carol McClintock with FC Tucker Imge Realtors. Carol, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. Hope you're doing well.
I am doing good over here. So one thing that you and I have been talking about is just tips around the house. And so I'm actually so excited to learn about what you have for us today because we're talking about organization, which is something I could definitely use in my life. What about you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm pretty organized, although there is always some clutter somewhere. So I could always be better.
So these tips, these are definitely for the home. So where can we start by organizing our house? What's number one on your list?
Well, number one is people try to tackle like the whole project at once. And it is better to break it up. Like we like to say, eat the elephant one bite at a time. So start with a process where you're going to do one area at a time.
I think I am a big culprit of that. I feel like I get overwhelmed and I have this big list of to-dos on my to-do list and it makes me overwhelmed. So I will have to take your advice on that one. What's number two?
Number two is you need to have a plan. So you need to have it written down what you are going to do, what your goals are, and stick with that plan.
So you said you were pretty organized. What's your plan whenever you jump into organizing your home life or possibly your work life? What's your plan usually?
Well, it depends upon what it is, but usually like if I'm going to tackle the laundry room, so I have a plan where what I'm going to take out of there, how that's going to get organized, because the worst thing to do is to reorganize and actually you're just decluttering. So then you have the same problem again in a month or 2 or 6 months or whatever. So try to make real progress.
Of course. And number three is tackling that paper mountain first. So what does that mean?
Well, actually, it means that should be the last thing that you do. I work with a lot of people that are downsizing. They're going from a larger home to a smaller home, and they need to get rid of a lot of things and organize. And so they get bogged down in the paper because if you think about it, a lot of it can be sentimental things, could be old photographs, could be old cards. So you need to do the big things first, furniture, those kinds of things, and then save the paperwork for when you're really on a roll and you're feeling like you can throw some things away.
The next one on the list, I think I am also another culprit for. So I go into the store and I look at all these organizing things that I can buy, but those aren't actually always the good thing, are they?
Yeah, no, they're not. And if we could look in my office here at home, you would see I'm a culprit of that too. I have all these darling baskets and they work a little bit, but really they're not that practical. So you need to measure the space that you have and know what size you need these containers to be. And particularly in garage and basements and stuff, they don't need to be these expensive baskets or things that, look good.
Just needs to work for you. Carol, sit tight. We're going to hear more from you coming up right after this break. Welcome back, everyone. We're still talking to Carol McClintock, and now we're actually going to talk about a beautiful home that is for sale. Carol, where is this home?
This home is at 500 Southeast Riverside in downtown Evansville, right across from the Evansville Museum.
So it is beautiful, and it is actually from the 1940s. Am I wrong?
Well, actually 1840.
1840s.
Yes, this was one of the first homes that was built. It's the Babcock Walker House. Mr. Babcock was a very prosperous merchant in Evansville, and he built it for his family. And then when he passed away, his widow married Mr. Walker, and they added the Greek columns and all the ornate touches to the house.
So you mentioned ornate touches, and if you look at these pictures, they're just absolutely everywhere. Carol, what's your favorite part about this house?
I just don't know. I think the kitchen is wonderful, which we're going to get to. It does have just beautiful details in the living room, those gold inlaid mirrors over the fireplace, and then there's valances that carry out the same theme. There are beautiful, I counted, there are 15 chandeliers in this house and 8 fireplaces.
8 fireplaces, 15 chandeliers, you said?
15 chandeliers, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It sounds pretty grand. So you're looking for a specific kind of buyer. Who would be great to buy this house?
Well, you know, anyone that wants to live in the historic district that appreciates the quality of the renovation here. These folks have lived in the house and really embarked on bringing it back to its original glory. They've been in there about 28 years, and the only reason that they're leaving is that they have a family home to go to that is also on the river. So it's in great shape, and it certainly has the room. It's 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, 4,700 square feet, and that doesn't count attic space or the space over the garage that could be another workshop or office or art studio.
Wow, so you mentioned there's 4 rooms. The rooms were actually built differently back then. Were they bigger than what we might find?
Yeah, homes generally built back in the 1840s. This has a living room and a music room, a huge dining room, family room, and a really nice warm kitchen right in the center of the house. And all of those rooms were much bigger than we see now. You know, brand new homes have the big open space and everything is all together. And of course, these homes were built with the individual rooms. But people will appreciate the size, particularly of the bedrooms. And then the upstairs master has a sunroom that overlooks the river. So it's great.
That is definitely a big highlight. And I saw in that kitchen, it has a beautiful range in there. So it is definitely great for cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kitchen is set up so the table is in the middle, just like you would see back in the 1800s. You know, that was the center of the universe as it is today, you know, kitchens today. But yeah, it's a great kitchen. It's a great house.
Carol, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing that beautiful house.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us today on Midday with Mike. I'm so glad that you could join us today, and I hope to see you tomorrow.